Hey there. We're diving deep today, and this one's especially for you. With that big leadership presentation coming up, I think you're going to find this incredibly relevant.
Definitely. It's all about what truly makes a leader stand out, and the answer might surprise you.
It definitely surprised me. We're looking at a saying of the Prophet Muhammad, hadith as it's called, and, well, let me just say, this one really packs a punch.
It's amazing how these sayings, these hadiths, can be so short and yet have so much depth.
Yeah, and this one, it really gets to the core of, like, what matters, not just in leadership, but in, well, everything, really.
Exactly.
All right, so the hadith we're looking at today says, "Indeed, Allah does not look at your appearance and wealth, but he looks at your hearts and deeds."
Wow. Powerful, right?
I mean, it kind of makes you stop and think, like, how often do we get caught up in the externals?
All the time, right?
Yeah, appearances, money,
Yeah.
status.
This hadith is like a reality check. It's saying, hey, those things aren't what ultimately matter.
So for our listeners who might not be familiar with the term, can you quickly explain what exactly a hadith is?
Sure. So a hadith is essentially a record of the Prophet Muhammad's sayings and actions. They're like a guidebook for Muslims showing how to live a life that's pleasing to God.
Okay. And I know there are different collections of hadiths. This one comes from Sahih Muslim, right?
That's right. And Sahih Muslim is known for its really strict authentication process.
So it's considered to be very reliable.
Exactly.
Got it. So we can trust that this hadith is a pretty accurate reflection of the Prophet's teachings.
Yeah.
All right, so back to the meaning. It says, Allah looks at our hearts and deeds. What does that mean exactly?
So hearts in this context refer to our inner world. It's about our intentions, our sincerity, our piety, basically the stuff that makes us, us.
So it's not just about putting on a good show, it's about being genuine.
Exactly. And then you have deeds, which are our actions, what we do in the world.
Right. So it seems like there's a strong connection between our inner state, our hearts, and our actions, our deeds.
Absolutely. This hadith is highlighting that link. Righteous actions, good deeds, they stem from a pure heart.
It's like the heart is the source and the actions are the flow.
I like that analogy.
I remember reading about a leader, I can't recall their name right now, but they were known for their ethical decisions and just this deep care for their team. And everyone said it was because of their integrity that is shown through in everything they did.
Perfect example. That's exactly what this hadith is talking about.
Okay.
Aligning your intentions with your actions.
Okay, so this source we're looking at, it also lists some specific benefits we can get from reflecting on this hadith. The first one is about purifying our hearts from, well, negative stuff. What kind of negative traits are we talking about?
Well, think about qualities like envy, arrogance, dishonesty.
Yeah, definitely don't want those in a leader.
Right. Those traits can really cloud someone's judgment, make it harder to work with others. They can really sabotage a leader's effectiveness.
So how do we purify our hearts?
It's a process. It's about self-reflection, about constantly striving to be better, to root out those negative qualities.
Like weeding a garden. Get rid of the bad stuff to let the good grow.
I like that.
The second benefit mentioned is sincerity and following the Prophet's example. Why is the Prophet's example so important, especially for leaders?
Okay, so in Islam, the Prophet Muhammad is considered to be the perfect example of how to live. He was known for his sincerity, compassion, justice, humility. And by studying his life, Muslims learn how to cultivate those same qualities.
So it's not just enough to, like, talk the talk.
Right. You have to walk the walk, embody those values in your everyday life.
It's about action speaking louder than words. Which actually leads us to the third benefit. The Hadith warns us against being deceived by superficial things. Oh boy, how often do we fall into that trap?
More often than we'd like to admit, right? We judge based on appearances, on first impressions.
So easy to get caught up in the surface stuff. But this hadith is reminding us to look deeper.
Exactly. True leadership, true character, it goes way beyond charisma or, putting on a good show.
Substance over style. Love that. And the final benefit this source highlights is the call to focus on inner reformation. So what does that mean for us, for anyone who wants to be a better leader?
It's a reminder that real change starts from within. Are we leading with integrity? Are our actions coming from a place of genuine care for others? It's about taking a good, hard look at ourselves and being committed to growth.
They're always striving to be better.
Exactly.
So I guess what we've learned today is that true leadership isn't about what you look like or how much money you have. It's about cultivating a good heart and letting that guide your actions.
Beautifully put.
And as you prep for your presentation, think about how you can bring in these ideas. What concrete steps can you take to lead from the heart?
Such a good question to ask ourselves, regardless of our roles.
Absolutely. Well, thanks to everyone for joining us on this deep dive. It's been an inspiring conversation, and I hope you all got as much out of it as I did. Remember, the best leaders are the ones who lead with sincerity, compassion, and a real desire to make a positive difference.
Couldn't have said it better myself.